What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new video. Now today you join me for another car review. As you can see, I have the Golf Mark 7.5 R with me, and this is the car in topic today. Now this car has a dedicated Instagram page. It will be on screen right now, and I'll also leave a link in the description below. Do check it out, and I really do hope you guys enjoy this review. Let's get right into it.
As I woke up one morning, just thinking about this night. As I woke up one morning, just thinking about this night. As I woke up one morning, just thinking about this night.
Now let's jump straight into the video. Now the R lineage dates back to 2002 with the Mark IV R32, which was later succeeded by the Mark V R32, and around 2010 that's when they've done away with the R32 naming and they just kept it as Golf R with the Mark VI Golf R. And around 2013 they came out with the Mark 7, and later 2017 2018 they came out with this, the Mark 7.5 R. Now looks wise, it actually looks relatively clean. Doesn't really have a lot of aggressive body lines, but you do have these two bonnet creases on either side, and somehow, someway, it still manages to look mean. I think it's because of the slim headlights and how deep the front bumper is and how gaping the lower section of the bumper is. You have the distinctive L-shaped Mark 7.5 daytime running lights, the older style R badging, and normally on standard Golfs and GTIs there are fog lights down here. On the R, they do away with that because they need as much cooling as possible. So you have all these openings for the radiators and the intakes so that the car can efficiently make the power that it's making. Now this car, as you can see, has aftermarket wheels. These are a sort of JI wheels, 19 inches, and they look amazing. They help make this car stand out from the standard cars with the OEM rims. Now the owner has also painted the brake calipers in blue, which is neat, and also the little R badge, he's painted it in blue. Remember, R is a very blue, so as to say, is a very R themed color. Now if I'm remembering correctly, these disc brakes are around 345 millimeters in diameter. I'll put the actual number on screen, but these are really huge brakes and they're really powerful, which we'll later find out while we're driving. Another R badge on the front fender, which looks clean. Now on the Mark 7.5 Rs, you could spec them with carbon mirrors, and this one has that option ticked off. Oh, by the way, this car is also slightly lowered. I'm not really sure if the stance is coming across well on camera, but it's slightly lowered. It also has some spaces which help the car look a lot more mean than standard. Now coming around to the back, nothing too fussy. It looks relatively the same as, say, an R-Line Mark 7.5, but what stands out is the Akropovich tailpipes. Now this car comes with the R Performance exhaust, which is the Akropovich titanium system, and man oh man, this thing sounds amazing. Now let's actually check out the interior. So guys, inside the interior of the Mark 7.5 R, it feels very familiar. Now the Mark 7.5 introduced the digital cockpit, so with that you get the digital instrument cluster. It's not really too customizable, but it's fairly clean. Resolution is quite high. You can display maps and all of that. I won't really dwell into such things. As I was saying, there's stuff like Apple CarPlay, there's heated seats, there's dyno audio sound system, and yeah, all the modern tech goodies that you need are available in here. Now you do have some white piping on the seats and a white R logo, and they are more aggressive than, say, in a standard VW Golf. Quality in here is quite good all over. I mean, VW makes some high quality cars, although when you go to lower areas there are some scratchy plastics, but I don't really want to dwell in such things. You do have an R Performance steering wheel, by the way, flat bottom with a little R badge, and you do get some slightly bigger pedals than in a standard Golf TSI, so as to say. Let's check out the room in the back. back seat, guys. Won't really waste a lot of time. This seat is a bit far back, but the Golf is relatively practical in the back. Plenty of headroom, plenty of leg room, knee room. You can really stretch in a bit, and yeah, relatively spacious. You do have this armrest here, which houses cup holders, which is nice, but it's quite awkward because you can't really put your elbow or your arm on it because the cup holders are not covered. But let's check out the boot space. Now the boot space, you're looking at about 380 liters in capacity. Relatively practical. There is a bit of a loading lip, but nothing too hectic. There are these two pockets on either side and a net to tie down your luggage. There's also an underfloor with a spare wheel, which is also extendable. You can lower it to make more room up here and put it in its higher up position, which is the current position. Now the Mark 7.5Rs started rolling out around 2018 and the production ran all the way until 2020. Pricing currently starts anywhere from 599,000 rands for early high mileage cars all the way up to around 760,000 rands for later low mileage cars. And that's pretty much the pricing currently on the Mark 7.5R. Okay, now let's get into the business, the engine bay. Now you're looking at the infamous EA 888. This is the Gen 3 motor, and in this case it's a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder as usual, and it's making around 228 kilowatts, which is around 310 metric horsepower and 400 newton meters of torque. It's mated to the infamous 7-speed dual clutch DSG transmission. Now this car is all-wheel drive. It has a Haldex system where it can send up to 50% of the power to the rear wheels if the front wheels have zero traction. Now the Golf R is actually set up in a very technical way. It has an adaptive chassis, it has adaptive dampers, which I believe were an optional extra, but don't really quote me on that. And compared to the other lineup of the Golf 7, like the standard TSI cars and the GTI, there's a bigger turbo to make the extra power. And yeah, quite a technical vehicle, and a lot of the stuff we'll actually experience while we're driving. With that being said, let's take a listen at the exhaust and experience how this car drives. So guys, driving the Mark 7.5R. Now what I'll put out there is, so far the stuff I've noticed is the car has a very short steering ratio, especially compared to the standard Golf. Remember, I drive a standard Golf TSI on a daily basis. It's a 1.4 R line. So yeah, compared to that, steering wheel ratio is quite short, and the chassis is quite a bit stiffer than the standard car. But oh man, please do not buy a Mark 7.5R without the Akrapovic exhaust system. Please do not. Please do not. It's a night and day difference. It makes the biggest difference ever. And I'll say something ridiculous. This car with this exhaust sounds a lot better than even something like a stock BMW M4, especially the later facelift cars with the OPF. This thing sounds ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. While I'm still maneuvering around here, I'll point out a few other things that I've noted. Now the suspension is relatively compliant, feels really good. These dampers do feel comfortable, so as to say. But now I just want to drive, because this car is all about driving. This exhaust, man, this car sounds a lot nicer than a lot of cars that are even way more expensive than the Golf R. It's literally that insane. It's really unbelievable. It sounds so grunty, it growls, it sounds so angry, and it's just magical, man. really lean into bends, and oh man, this thing is insane. I just love how the sort of stance that it has, it feels like it really hugs the road and it's one with the road. You can really lean into the throttle, you can lean into the steering wheel, and it also feels safe while you're doing all of that. It feels so safe. Doesn't feel like you're going to die in any way, but if you push it too hard, it will start to understeer. But around bends, it does handle the curves so well, and you can just lean into it and push it so hard. It's such a fun car, hey? It's really a fun car. I'm pretty sure a hot hatch on the same level, that is front wheel drive, say your McGann RS trophies, around corners they might be more capable than this, but oh man, this thing is just in a league of its own, really. I don't feel like this car is overrated in any way. I know you see them everywhere, but man, it's just I don't want to keep the windows open for too long, but you can just play around with it like that. The steering wheel is relatively direct and you can tell what the wheels are doing, and man, this is such an awesome car. That exhaust as well, that exhaust alone is worth the money. Like, give me the exhaust and I don't know, I'll drive the exhaust, I'll listen to the exhaust at home, it's fine. That exhaust alone is just worth the money. This thing is quite insane, really insane. And oh man, I don't know what else to add. I just want to drive it. I really just want to drive it. But there's quite a lot of people around here, and I don't want to seem like a lunatic, but damn, what a car. What a car, man. That exhaust, just want to roll down my window for a bit. And when it's warm, it starts popping on the overrun. Look at this. Oh man. This car, compared to like the GTIs, feels so angry because there's no wheel spin here. As soon as you put your foot down, it goes, it hunkers down. That exhaust. Oh man. Man, this car, if you're considering one of these, this is well worth it. Because this also sounds a lot louder than the Mach 8R. Don't get me wrong, the Mach 8R is brilliant. It's a lot more capable with its rear diff. But if you went with this, you're not really missing out on much. Yeah, there's a bit more performance, slightly quicker than this, but you're not really missing out on much. But I think I'm gonna hop onto the road now, do one more pull, and yeah, we'll call it a day. But what a car, man. This is, yeah, really insane. My favorite part about the car is the exhaust. Really is the exhaust. Sounds incredible. It's amazing. It gives you all the smiles, really. Just want to play with the gears as well. And you can play the gearbox like an instrument, eh? You can just keep going up and down. Oh man, what a car. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Oh. yeah, man, that is it from me, guys. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, that's cheers from me. Do one last pull.